So I'd like to talk about the film Attica by Manon de Boer, a film that was made in 2008 and is a 16mm film that's about 10 minutes long and is presented in a gallery context rather than in a film theater or in a movie theater. It's something that I think, we ask, why is this a work of art? And we're usually used to seeing films in a very different kind of situation, a very different mode of presentation. And so, it really kind of begs the question as to what makes this an art film? What makes this film a work of art? And so, to me, I think it's about the way that the artist has constructed the film and what the artist really wants to achieve with the film. It's a film that doesn't have a story per se. It's not something that's sort of taking you into another world, but really presenting the matter-of-fact event of this performance of a group of musicians led by Jan Rejewski, who is actually performing a piece that his father, Frederick Rejewski, wrote in 1972, a piece called Attica that really looks at, it was inspired by the events in 1971 of the Attica prison riot in upstate New York. It was a prison riot that was inspired by not only the murder of one of the inmates, a radical African-American prisoner named George Jackson, but also as a protest by the prisoners against the living conditions in the prison itself. 39 people died as a result of the riots, and it really created a greater awareness of a very difficult political situation that existed in the United States in the late 60s and early 70s, but also to a greater awareness of the rights of prisoners within the prisons in the United States at that time. And it's all structured around the phrase, "Attica is in front of me," which was based on a conversation or an interview with a different inmate, Richard Clark, who, when asked about how the Attica riots affected him and what it was like to have put those riots behind him, he actually responded, "Attica is in front of me." Really kind of established how the impact of those riots and what it meant for him personally, but also perhaps what it meant for American society, and was really not something that was in the past, but very much something that defined his present and the future. It's a film that I really enjoy because it combines two things that I am very interested in, or a number of things that I'm very interested in. Recent history, a sort of cinematic approach that is, very much about how film is made, and more experimental music that has a very strong idea behind it. And so it really kind of combines all of these elements in, I think, a really quite engaging and intriguing way, that I think if you really sort of spend some time with the piece and really kind of focus on how the music, how the way that the film is made all kind of interrelate, it really becomes a very fascinating piece to watch. And so the composition, the piece of music, actually kind of rises to a crescendo and then descends in a very kind of mirrored sort of way. The same music you're kind of hearing on the way to a crescendo is sort of then much the same kind of music that you hear as it kind of concludes. There's also a moment in the film where you begin to realize that you're sort of seeing the performers being shot from one angle, and then the sort of angle reverses. And you're sort of seeing them kind of being presented from a different angle. And this is accomplished by the filmmaker actually shooting the performers and then sort of turning the camera to explore the rest of the space that they're performing in. And then it starts to film the reflection of musicians in a window in the space, and so you're actually seeing a mirror image of the performers. And so just the way that the music has this sort of mirrored structure to it, so too does the film have this very mirrored effect. And so I think it's a really complicated, really complex, very engaging work of art that, once again, I think if one spends a bit of time with it and gets into the structure and the way it's presented in the music, I think is really a quite engrossing and engaging piece.